The first thing you need to know about Betrayal is that it sounds exactly like your wife's voice at 2 in the morning, floating through thin walls like poison gas. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. I'm sitting in my home office, trying to transfer from my wheelchair to the pull-out couch I've been sleeping on since the accident 6 months ago. My legs are extra weight, but my arms have gotten stronger from hauling myself around. The physical therapy is paying off, even if nothing else in my life is. That's when I hear Claire's voice from the master bedroom, sharp and cold as January wind off Iron Lake. "He's a burden now, Mom. I can't take care of him after his accident. I never signed up for this." I freeze halfway through the transfer, balanced precariously between wheelchair and couch. Through the wall, I can hear my wife of 15 years discussing my future like I'm a broken appliance she can't return. "The McGinty boys said they'd help," Claire continues. "We'll pack his stuff and move him to that motel on Route 9. He can figure out the rest himself." A cold shiver runs through me. The McGinty boys are Claire's twin brothers, Danny and Derek, two knuckle-dragging bullies who've hated me since I married their precious sister. They work construction when they're not drinking beer and starting fights at Eddie's Tap House. "I know it sounds harsh," Claire says, "but Jackson's not the man I married anymore. He's weak, pathetic. I can't stand looking at him in that chair." I complete the transfer to the couch, my hands shaking with rage. 6 months ago, I was Jackson Reid, CEO of Reid Safety Gear, a company I built from nothing into a multi-million-dollar operation. Then I fell from a faulty safety harness at my own testing facility. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. And broke my spine. The doctors said I'd never walk again. Claire visited me in the hospital exactly 3 times. Each visit was shorter than the last. "What about Bella?" Claire's mother asks through the phone. "She's 17. She'll understand. Besides, she barely talks to Jackson anymore anyway. She's embarrassed by him." That one hits harder than the rest. Bella is my daughter, my pride and joy, though lately she's been treating me like I'm invisible. I thought it was typical teenage behavior, but now I wonder if Claire's been poisoning her against me. "Just get it done quickly," Claire says. "Vince is coming over tomorrow night and I don't want Jackson here when he arrives." Vince. Vincent Morrison, my former business partner and current rival. The man who tried to buy me out 3 years ago when I refused to sell Reid Safety to his conglomerate. Now he's coming to my house while my wife plans to dump me at a roadside motel. I lie back on the couch, staring at the ceiling, processing what I've just heard. My wife wants to throw me away like garbage. My daughter is ashamed of me. My business rivals are circling like vultures. But here's what Claire doesn't know about me. I've never been the kind of man who goes quietly. I built a company from scratch, by outworking, outsmarting, and outlasting everyone who tried to stop me. The accident took my legs, not my brain. And I'm about to remind everyone exactly who Jackson Reid really is. The next morning comes too soon. I'm making coffee in the kitchen when I hear the rumble of Danny McGinty's pickup truck in the driveway. Through the window, I watch both brothers climb out, dressed in their usual uniform of stained work clothes and permanent scowls. Claire appears in the kitchen doorway, already dressed for work in her sharp lawyer suit. She won't meet my eyes. "Jackson," she says, her voice artificially bright, "my brothers are here to help you move to a more suitable living arrangement." "Suitable for who?" I ask, keeping my voice level. "For everyone," she replies. "You need proper care, and I can't provide it. This is better for both of us." The front door slams open without a knock. Danny and Derek McGinty fill the doorway like a pair of gorillas in work boots. Danny's the older twin by 12 minutes, something he never lets Derek forget. Both are built like brick walls, with hands the size of dinner plates and brains the size of walnuts. "Morning, Jackie," Danny says with a nasty grin. "Ready for your big move?" Don't call me Jackie, I reply. Derek laughs, a sound like gravel in a cement mixer. What are you gonna do about it, Wheels? Chase us down? They think this is hilarious. Claire pretends to busy herself with her briefcase, but I can see the slight smile on her face. She's enjoying this. Your stuff's already packed, Danny announces, gesturing toward the living room where I can see garbage bags full of my belongings. We took the liberty of getting you ready. I wheel myself over to examine the bags. They've thrown my clothes, books, and personal items together like they're hauling trash to the dump. My framed business awards are cracked. My father's watch is missing from the nightstand where I left it. Where's my watch? I ask. What watch? Derek says, but his eyes dart away. My father's Rolex, the one that was on my nightstand. Must have lost it, Danny shrugs. Lot of stuff goes missing when you're moving. I want to grab him by the throat, but from a wheelchair, my options are limited. Instead, I file the information away for later use. The McGinty brothers just stole from me, and they're too stupid to hide it well. Let's go, Jackson, Claire says, checking her phone. I have a deposition at 10. They load me into Derek's van like cargo, tossing my bags in the back without ceremony. The wheelchair goes in last, banging against my belongings. Claire follows in her BMW, probably to make sure the job gets done. The Iron Lake Motor Inn sits on Route 9 like a monument to broken dreams. The paint is peeling, the neon sign flickers, and half the parking lot is cracked asphalt and weeds. It's the kind of place where people go to disappear or die quietly. Danny wheels me to room 12 while Derek carries my bags. The room smells like cigarettes and industrial disinfectant. There's a sagging double bed, a broken TV, and a bathroom I wouldn't clean with a hazmat suit. Home sweet home, Danny says, dropping me off next to the bed. Claire appears in the doorway holding an envelope. The divorce papers, she says, tossing it onto the bed. I'm filing next week. Don't try to contest it, Jackson. You can't afford the legal fees anymore. What about my company? I ask. The board voted to remove you as CEO, she says with satisfaction. Health reasons. Vince Morrison made a very generous offer to buy your shares. I'd take it if I were you. Of course. It all makes sense now. Claire, Vince, and probably half my board have been planning this since the accident. They're not just stealing my wife and my dignity, they're stealing my life's work. You won't get away with this, I tell her. Danny steps forward, cracking his knuckles. That sounds like a threat, Jackie. You threatening my sister? I'm stating a fact, I reply, looking directly at Claire. You think I'm helpless because I'm in this chair. You're about to learn how wrong you are. Claire's confident smile wavers slightly. She's seen that look in my eyes before, usually right before I crushed a business competitor or closed a deal everyone said was impossible. Come on, she tells her brothers. Let's go. They file out, leaving me alone in the squalid motel room with my garbage bags and my rage. Through the thin walls, I can hear a couple arguing in the next room and a TV blaring somewhere down the hall. But I'm not broken, not even close. I pull out my phone and dial a number I haven't called in months. Eddie's Tap House, comes the familiar gravelly voice. Eddie, it's Jackson Reid. I need a favor. Eddie Kowalski has been my friend since high school, back when we were both stupid enough to think we could make it as boxers. He's got a face like a catcher's mitt and hands that could crack walnuts, but he's got the biggest heart in Iron Lake. When everyone else wrote me off after the accident, Eddie was the only one who kept calling. He shows up at the motel an hour later, driving his ancient Ford pickup with more rust than paint. Eddie takes one look at the Motor Inn and shakes his head. Jesus, Jack, this place is a shithole. It's temporary, I tell him, though I'm not sure I believe it myself. Eddie helps me load my bags into his truck. He doesn't ask questions about why I'm living in a motel or why my belongings are in garbage bags. That's the kind of friend Eddie is. He waits for you to tell him what you need. Where to? He asks as we pull out of the parking lot. Iron Lake Recovery Center. I need to get serious about physical therapy. Eddie glances at me sideways. Thought you were already doing PT? Not like this. I need to get strong again, Eddie. Strong enough to fight back. The Iron Lake Recovery Center sits on the good side of town, a modern facility with floor-to-ceiling windows and motivational posters about overcoming adversity. It's where the wealthy residents of Iron Lake come to recover from their skiing accidents and tennis injuries. I can't afford it, but I still have my credit cards. For now. Dr. Lorna Vasquez is a small woman with muscles like steel cables and the bedside manner of a drill sergeant. She's worked with everyone from professional athletes to car accident victims, and she doesn't coddle anyone. So, you want to walk again? She says, reviewing my medical records. Your doctors say that's unlikely. My doctors don't know me very well. She looks up from the file, studying my face. What's your motivation, Mr. Reid? And don't tell me you want to walk for your family. I can smell the divorce papers from here. I like her already. I want to walk so I can look the people who betrayed me in the eye when I destroy them. Dr. Vasquez grins. Now that's honest. I can work with revenge. It's better than self-pity. She puts me through a battery of tests, checking my muscle tone, reflexes, and range of motion. The news isn't good. My spinal cord injury is severe, and the chances of regaining full mobility are slim. But, she says, there's some sensation in your legs. That means the damage isn't complete. With enough work, you might regain partial function, maybe even walk short distances with assistance. How long? 6 months of intensive therapy, 3 hours a day, 6 days a week. It's going to hurt like hell, and there's no guarantee. Sign me up. That afternoon, Eddie drives me back to the motel, but I don't go to my room. Instead, I sit in the parking lot and make phone calls. The first call is to Bree Watson, my executive assistant at Reid Safety. She's been with the company for 8 years, and she's one of the few people I trust completely. Mr. Reid, she says, sounding surprised. How are you? I heard about, well, everything. I'm fine, Bree. I need you to do something for me, quietly. Can you access the company's security footage from the past 6 months? Technically, yes, but Mr. Morrison said all requests need to go through him now. Vince Morrison isn't CEO yet. I still own 40% of the company. Download everything you can and store it somewhere safe. Don't let anyone know what you're doing. Is everything okay, Mr. Reid? It will be, just trust me. The second call is to my accountant, Harold Zimmer. Harold's been handling my finances since I started the company, and he's as honest as the day is long. Jackson, I've been trying to reach you, Harold says. There are some irregularities in your company accounts. Large withdrawals that don't match any invoices or expenses. How large? 200,000 over the past 4 months. The signatures look like yours, but they're not. Someone's been forging my name. Can you trace where the money went? I'm working on it. Jackson, there's something else. Your wife has been asking about your personal accounts, insurance policies, retirement funds. She says you're getting divorced, and she needs to know what assets are involved. Don't give her anything, Harold, not until I say so. Already ahead of you. Something doesn't smell right about this whole situation. The third call is the hardest one. I dial my daughter's number, knowing she probably won't answer. What do you want? Bella's voice is cold, distant. I want to talk to my daughter. Mom says you're sick, that you're not the same person anymore. Do you believe that? There's a long pause. I don't know what to believe, Dad. Everything's so messed up. Bella, I know things look bad right now, but I need you to know that I love you, and I'm going to fix this. All of it. How? You can't even walk. The words sting, but I can hear the pain in her voice. She's 17 years old, and her world is falling apart. Her mother is filling her head with lies, and I'm living in a motel room. Sometimes the strongest people are the ones who get knocked down and get back up, I tell her. I'm not giving up, sweetheart. On anything. She hangs up without saying goodbye. That night, I lie in the sagging motel bed and plan my comeback. Claire thinks she's won because she has the house, the lawyers, and the muscle. But she's made one crucial mistake. She's underestimated me. I've built a business empire from nothing. I've outmaneuvered competitors with more money and better connections. I've survived recessions, lawsuits, and hostile takeover attempts, and now I'm going to survive this. The next morning, I'm at the recovery center at 7 a.m. sharp. Dr. Vasquez puts me through a workout that would challenge a healthy person, let alone someone with a spinal injury. We work on core strength, upper body development, and something she calls functional mobility. The goal isn't to make you normal, she explains, as I struggle through a set of parallel bar exercises. The goal is to make you functional, strong enough to do what you need to do. What I need to do is stand up and face my enemies. Then we better get to work. After therapy, I have Eddie drive me past my old house. It's a beautiful colonial on Maple Street, with a circular driveway and a perfectly manicured lawn. I bought it 12 years ago when Reid Safety started turning serious profit. There's a strange car in the driveway, a silver Mercedes that I recognize as Vince Morrison's. It's 3 in the afternoon on a Tuesday, and my wife is entertaining my business rival while I'm sweating through physical therapy. Want me to go knock on the door? Eddie asks. No, not yet, but take some pictures of that Mercedes. I want proof that he's been here. Eddie snaps photos with his phone while I sit in the passenger seat, memorizing every detail. The license plate number, the time of day, the fact that all the curtains in my house are drawn. What's the plan, Jack? The plan is to remind everyone in this town who Jackson Reid really is, starting with my loving wife. That evening, I'm back in my motel room when someone knocks on the door. I open it to find Mrs. Schroeder, the 70-year-old busybody who lives next door to my house on Maple Street. Mr. Reid, I heard you were staying here. How terrible. Mrs. Schroeder loves gossip more than oxygen, but she's always been kind to me. She also sees everything that happens in the neighborhood. Hello, Mrs. Schroeder. What brings you by? Well, I wanted you to know that I think what your wife did is shameful, throwing you out like that while you're recovering from your accident. I appreciate that. And that man who's been coming around, Mr. Morrison, is it? He's there almost every day now. Sometimes he doesn't leave until morning. I keep my expression neutral, but inside I'm taking notes. Is that so? Yesterday I saw him moving boxes into your house. Big boxes, like he's moving in permanently. Thank you for letting me know, Mrs. Schroeder. There's something else, she says, lowering her voice. Your wife had some men over last week, rough-looking fellows. They were loading things into a truck, personal items it looked like. The McGinty brothers, stealing more of my belongings. I add it to my growing list of grievances. After Mrs. Schroeder leaves, I call Harold Zimmer again. I trace those withdrawals, he says. The money went to an account owned by Morrison Holdings. That's Vincent Morrison's company. So Claire's been embezzling from my business and giving the money to my competitor. It looks that way. Jackson, this is serious. We're talking about felony charges. Not yet, Harold. I want to see how deep this goes before we involve the police. What are you planning? I'm planning to give everyone exactly what they deserve. 3 weeks into my intensive physical therapy, something miraculous happens. I feel my left toe move. It's just a twitch, barely noticeable, but Dr. Vasquez sees it immediately. Do that again, she commands. I concentrate, focusing every ounce of willpower on that toe. Nothing happens for 30 seconds, then another small movement. Son of a jerk, Dr. Vasquez breathes. You're getting some nerve function back. What does that mean? It means we're going to work twice as hard. If you can move that toe, you might be able to move more. She's right. Over the next 2 weeks, the sensation spreads, first to my other toes, then to my ankles. I can't walk yet, but I can feel my legs again. The doctors said it was impossible, but here I am, proving them wrong, just like I'm going to prove Clare wrong. Bree calls me with an update on the company situation. Mr. Reid, I downloaded all the security footage like you asked. You're not going to believe what I found. Try me. Ms. Reid and Mr. Morrison have been meeting in your office after hours for months, way before your accident, and there are recordings of them discussing how to force you out of the company. Send me everything. And Bree, start looking for a new job. Things are about to get very messy at Reid Safety. I'm not going anywhere, Mr. Reid. You gave me a chance when no one else would. I'm with you until the end. That's why I've always liked Bree. Loyalty is rare these days. Harold calls with more bad news. The embezzlement is worse than we thought. Claire has been forging your signature for almost a year, not just the past few months. We're looking at over $500,000. Can we prove it? With the right forensic accountant, yes. But Jackson, there's something else. She's filed papers to have you declared mentally incompetent due to your injuries. If that goes through, she'll have power of attorney over all your assets. On what grounds? She claims you've been making irrational decisions, that the accident affected your judgment. She has affidavits from several people supporting her claim. Let me guess. The McGinty brothers and Vince Morrison. Among others. Some of your former friends signed statements too. That stops me cold. Which friends? Tom Bradley, Mike Hoffman, and Jennifer Walsh. They all say you've been acting erratically since the accident. Tom, Mike, and Jennifer. My golf buddies, my poker night crew, people I've known for years. They've turned against me too. Harold, I need you to prepare something for me. A complete financial audit of Reid Safety, going back 2 years. And I want a forensic analysis of every signature on every document. Can you do that quietly? It'll be expensive. I don't care. Use my personal accounts, the ones Claire doesn't know about. That night, I lie in my motel bed planning my next move. Claire has built a coalition against me. Her brothers, my business rival, my former friends, and probably half the town. They all think I'm finished, a broken man who'll quietly disappear. They're about to learn how wrong they are. The next morning, I have Eddie drive me to the Iron Lake Country Club. It's Saturday, which means Tom Bradley will be on the golf course with his usual foursome. Tom was my best man at my wedding, my business advisor during the early days of Reid Safety, and the godfather to my daughter. He's also apparently signed a legal document claiming I'm mentally incompetent. I find Tom on the 10th tee, lining up his shot. He sees me approaching in my wheelchair and his face goes pale. Jackson, what are you doing here? Hello, Tom. Nice morning for golf. His playing partners, men I've known for years, suddenly find their golf bags very interesting. They won't meet my eyes. Listen, Jack, about that thing with Claire. You mean the affidavit where you claimed I was mentally unstable? Tom's face flushes red. She said you were having problems, that you needed help managing your affairs. And you believed her? You have to understand, after the accident you weren't yourself. You seemed angry, paranoid. I was angry because my wife was stealing from me and planning to dump me in a motel. Turns out I wasn't paranoid enough. Tom looks around nervously. His golf buddies are pretending not to listen, but I know they're hanging on every word. Claire showed us the financial records, Tom says. The erratic spending, the strange business decisions. You mean the forged documents where she stole $500,000 from my company? That gets everyone's attention. Tom's mouth falls open. That's not possible. It's not only possible, it's provable. I have forensic accountants going through every transaction. Your friend Claire has been embezzling from Reid Safety and giving the money to Vince Morrison. I can see the doubt creeping into Tom's eyes. He's known me for 15 years, and he's starting to remember that I don't make wild accusations without evidence. Why would she do that? Because she's been having an affair with Vince for over a year. They plan to force me out of my own company and split the assets between them. Tom looks sick. Jesus, Jack, I had no idea. No, you didn't, but you signed that affidavit anyway. You declared me incompetent without even talking to me first. Claire said you were too unstable to have visitors. Claire lied about everything, and you helped her do it. I wheel myself closer to Tom, close enough that he has to look down at me. When I speak, my voice is quiet, but absolutely serious. I built my company from nothing, Tom. I've survived recessions, lawsuits, and hostile takeovers. Did you really think a cheating wife and a wheelchair were going to stop me? Tom swallows hard. What do you want me to do? I want you to remember who your real friend is. And when the time comes, I want you to tell the truth. I wheel away, leaving Tom standing on the tee with his golf club in his hands and doubt written all over his face. Eddie is waiting in the parking lot. How'd it go? Better than expected. Tom's not a bad guy, just weak. Claire manipulated him, but he's starting to see through her lies. What about the others? Mike and Jennifer? They're next on my list. We find Mike Hoffman at his auto dealership on the south side of town. Mike sells used cars and has the personality to match, smooth, friendly, and completely untrustworthy. But he's been part of our social circle for years, and I thought that meant something. Apparently, I was wrong. Jackson, Mike says with fake enthusiasm as I wheel into his showroom. Great to see you, buddy. How are you feeling? I'm feeling betrayed, Mike. How are you? His smile falters. I don't know what you mean. I mean the affidavit you signed for my wife. The one where you claimed I was mentally incompetent. Mike looks around nervously. There are customers in the showroom, and this isn't the kind of conversation he wants them to overhear. Maybe we should talk in my office, he suggests. No, I think here is fine. I want everyone to hear this. Mike's face goes red. Come on, Jack, don't make a scene. You didn't mind making a scene when you signed that legal document. Tell me, Mike, what made you think I was incompetent? Was it when I built a multi-million-dollar company? Or when I employed half the people in this town? You know it wasn't like that? Then what was it like? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you stabbed me in the back the moment I was vulnerable. A small crowd has gathered. Customers, salespeople, mechanics from the service bay. Mike realizes he's trapped. Claire said you were having problems, he says quietly. She showed us documentation. Forged documentation. Claire has been embezzling from my company for over a year. She's also been having an affair with my business competitor. Everything she told you was a lie. Mike's mouth opens and closes like a fish out of water. I didn't know. You didn't want to know. It was easier to believe I was crazy than to admit your friend's wife was a criminal. I wheel closer to Mike, my voice dropping to a whisper that somehow carries through the entire showroom. I'm going to destroy everyone who betrayed me, Mike. Everyone. The only question is whether you're going to be part of the problem or part of the solution. Mike swallows hard, sweat beading on his forehead despite the air conditioning. What do you want me to do? I want you to retract your statement, publicly. And I want you to remember this conversation when people start asking questions about Claire and Vince. I wheel toward the exit, then stop and turn back. Oh, and Mike? That Rolex my brother-in-law stole from me? I know you fence stolen goods through your parts department. If that watch shows up here, I'll make sure the police know about your little side business. Mike goes white as a sheet. Score another point for the home team. Jennifer Walsh is the hardest one to confront because I genuinely liked her. She's a real estate agent, a single mother, and someone I considered a true friend. When her ex-husband stopped paying child support, I hired her to handle all of Reid Safety's property transactions. When she needed a loan to buy her house, I co-signed the mortgage, and she repaid me by signing a document claiming I was mentally incompetent. I find her at her real estate office on Main Street, showing photos of available properties to a young couple. She sees me through the window and her face goes pale, but she can't abandon her clients. I wait. 20 minutes later, the couple leaves with a handful of brochures and Jennifer's business card. Jennifer approaches me slowly, like someone walking toward their own execution. Hello, Jackson. Hello, Jennifer. I suppose you're here about the affidavit. Among other things, she sits down heavily in the chair behind her desk. I'm sorry, Jack. I really am. but Claire showed us the medical reports, the financial records. All fake. How was I supposed to know that? You could have asked me directly. You could have visited me in the hospital. You could have returned one of my phone calls. Jennifer looks down at her hands. Claire said you weren't allowed visitors, that the doctors recommended isolation while you recovered. And you believed her? She's your wife, Jack. Why would she lie? Because she's been stealing from my company and having an affair with my competitor. Because she wanted me declared incompetent so she could steal everything I've worked for. Jennifer looks up sharply. That's a serious accusation. It's a serious crime. I have proof, Jennifer. Bank records, security footage, forensic analysis of forged signatures. Claire isn't the victim here. I am. I can see the wheels turning in Jennifer's head. She's a smart woman, and she's starting to put the pieces together. The financial irregularities she showed us were her own embezzlement, blamed on me. The erratic behavior was anger at being betrayed by everyone I trusted. Jennifer covers her face with her hands. Oh God, Jack, what have we done? You've helped my wife try to steal my life. The question now is what you're going to do about it. Jennifer looks up at me with tears in her eyes. How can I fix this? Retract your statement. Tell the truth about how Claire manipulated you. And when this all comes out, and it will come out, make sure people know what really happened. I will. I promise. Good. Because Jennifer, I like you. I always have. But if you don't make this right, I'll destroy you along with everyone else. She nods, wiping her eyes. I understand. As I wheel out of her office, I feel something I haven't felt in months. Hope. Tom, Mike, and Jennifer were all manipulated by Claire, but they're not evil people. They made mistakes, and now they have a chance to correct them. Claire's coalition is starting to crumble, and she doesn't even know it yet, but she's about to find out. The breakthrough comes on a Thursday morning during physical therapy. I'm working on the parallel bars, trying to support my weight with my arms, when Dr. Vasquez tells me to try putting weight on my legs. I can't, I say. They won't hold me. Try anyway. I lower myself slowly, expecting my legs to buckle. Instead, they hold. Not strongly, not steadily, but they hold. Holy shit, I breathe. Language, Mr. Reid, Dr. Vasquez says, but she's grinning. Now try taking a step. I shift my weight to my right leg and lift my left foot. For a moment, I'm balanced on one leg, something I haven't done in 8 months. Then I move my left foot forward 6 inches and set it down. I've taken a step. How do you feel? Dr. Vasquez asks. Like I can conquer the world. Good, because now the real work begins. That afternoon, I have Eddie drive me to Reid's safety headquarters for the first time since my accident. The building is a modern glass and steel structure on the outskirts of Iron Lake, with my company logo prominently displayed on the front facade. It's still my company, despite what everyone thinks. I wheel through the front lobby, past the receptionist who does a double take, and straight to the elevator. Several employees see me and whisper among themselves. Word of my presence will reach the executive floor within minutes. Good. I want them to know I'm here. The elevator opens on the executive floor, and I wheel down the familiar hallway toward my office. My name is still on the door, though I notice someone has covered it with a piece of tape that says, V. Morrison, Acting CEO. Acting CEO. Not permanent. That's important. I push open the door to find Vince Morrison sitting behind my desk, talking on my phone, wearing a suit that probably costs more than most people make in a month. He sees me and nearly drops the phone. I'll call you back, he says quickly, hanging up. Hello, Vince. Nice office. Looks familiar. Vince stands up, trying to regain his composure. He's a tall man with silver hair and the kind of artificial tan that screams country club membership. We've been rivals for years, but I never thought he'd stoop to stealing my company through my wife. Jackson, this is unexpected. I bet it is. Mind if I come in? Oh wait, it's still my office. I wheel around the desk, forcing Vince to step aside. Everything looks the same except for a framed photo of Claire on the desk where my family picture used to be. We need to talk, Vince says. Yes, we do, but not here. Too many ears. Let's go somewhere more private. Where did you have in mind? I smile, and something in my expression makes Vince take a step back. My cabin on Iron Lake. Tonight at 8. Come alone. Jackson, I don't think... It wasn't a request, Vince. You've been sleeping in my bed, sitting in my chair, and stealing my company. The least you can do is give me 30 minutes of your time. Vince nods reluctantly. He knows he's been caught, and he's trying to figure out how much I know. He's about to find out it's everything. I spend the rest of the afternoon making preparations. The cabin on Iron Lake has been in my family for 3 generations. It's isolated, private, and has excellent cell phone reception, important for what I'm planning. Eddie helps me set up the equipment Bree smuggled out of the office, a digital recorder, a laptop with all the security footage, and printed copies of the financial records Harold compiled. Everything I need to prove Claire and Vince's conspiracy. You sure about this, Jack? Eddie asks. Confronting him alone? I won't be alone. You'll be in the next room listening to everything. If things go south, call the police. What if he gets violent? I pat the .38 revolver in my jacket pocket. Then he'll discover that my arms work just fine. Vince arrives exactly at 8, driving his silver Mercedes. He's changed into casual clothes, khakis and a polo shirt, but he still looks like he's heading to a yacht club rather than a lakeside cabin. I'm waiting for him on the porch, having transferred from my wheelchair to a regular chair. I want to look as normal as possible for this conversation. Nice place, Vince says, looking around nervously. Very rustic. My grandfather built it in 1952. 3 generations of Reid men have made important decisions in this cabin. What kind of decisions? The kind that determine who lives and who dies, metaphorically speaking, of course. Vince sits down across from me, trying to project confidence he doesn't feel. So, what's this about, Jackson? If you want to discuss the buyout offer, I want to discuss your affair with my wife. The words hang in the air like smoke. Vince's face goes through several expressions, surprise, denial, calculation, before settling on resignation. How long have you known? Long enough. The question is, how long has it been going on? Vince looks out at the lake, gathering his thoughts. About 18 months. Before my accident. Yes. So you were sleeping with my wife while trying to buy my company. When that failed, you decided to steal it instead. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like, Vince? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you and Claire planned this whole thing. The embezzlement, the forged signatures, having me declared incompetent, all so you could take over Reid's safety and split the assets. Vince's silence is all the confirmation I need. I reach into my jacket and pull out a digital recorder. This conversation is being recorded, Vince. Everything you say can and will be used against you in court. You can't do that. This is entrapment. Actually, Minnesota is a one-party consent state. I can record any conversation I'm part of. But thanks for confirming that you know you've committed crimes. Vince stands up, pacing to the edge of the porch. What do you want, Jackson? I want the truth. All of it. How long have you been planning this? Who else is involved? How much money have you stolen? And if I tell you? Then maybe I don't press charges. Maybe we work out a deal that doesn't end with you in federal prison. Vince considers this for a long moment. He's a businessman, and he can recognize when he's lost a negotiation. It started as just an affair, he says finally. Claire was unhappy in your marriage. She felt neglected, taken for granted. So you comforted her. Yes. But then she started talking about divorce, about how you'd never give her what she deserved. She knew about your company's finances, your personal assets. She suggested we could be together if I was out of the picture. Not gone, Vince says quickly. Just removed from the equation. How thoughtful. So you started stealing from my company. Claire had access to your signature, your financial records. It was easy to set up the transfers, make it look like you were making poor business decisions. And then I had my accident. That wasn't planned, Jackson. That was just fortunate timing. I want to punch him in the face, but I need him to keep talking. So you accelerated the timeline, had me declared incompetent, forced me out of the company, dumped me in a motel room. Claire said you were different after the accident. Angry, irrational. I was angry because my wife was stealing from me. I was irrational because everyone I trusted was lying to me. Vince flinches at the volume of my voice. Good. I want him scared. How much money did you steal, Vince? About $600,000 total. More than Harold estimated. And the company? What was your plan there? Force you to sell your shares at a reduced price. Claim the company was failing due to your poor management. I would buy you out, then merge Reid Safety with Morrison Holdings. Eliminating your biggest competitor. Yes. I lean back in my chair, processing everything he's told me. It's worse than I thought, but also better. Because now I have a full confession on tape. There's one more thing I need to know, Vince. Who else is involved? What do you mean? I mean, did you have help? Inside the company, on the board of directors? Vince hesitates, and I know I've hit something important. Answer the question, Vince. 3 board members knew about the plan. They were promised positions in the merged company. Which 3? Peterson, Williams, and Chen. 3 of my 7 board members, including the chairman. No wonder the vote to remove me was so quick and unanimous. Anyone else? Claire's friend Naomi helped with some of the legal paperwork. She's a paralegal, had access to document templates and notary stamps. Naomi Richardson, Claire's best friend since college. Another person I trusted. Another person who betrayed me. Is that everyone? Yes. Jackson, look, I know this looks bad, but we can work something out. You get your company back. Claire and I disappear. Everyone wins. Everyone wins? Vince, you stole my wife, my company, and my money. You had me thrown out of my own house like garbage. You tried to have me declared mentally incompetent, and you think we can just shake hands and call it even? What else do you want? Revenge won't get your money back. I smile, and something in my expression makes Vince take a step backward. Who says I want the money back? Vince, I'm worth $20 million. $600,000 is pocket change. What I want is justice. What kind of justice? The kind where everyone knows what you and Claire really are. The kind where you lose everything, just like you tried to make me lose everything. I pull out my phone and show Vince the screen. It's a live stream app, and we currently have 47 viewers. What is that? That's Iron Lake's community Facebook page. I've been streaming our entire conversation. Everyone in town just heard you confess to embezzlement, fraud, and conspiracy. Vince goes pale. You can't do that. I just did. And Vince, the stream is being recorded. Even if I delete it, copies will exist forever. Vince lunges toward me, trying to grab the phone. I'm ready for him. My right hand comes up with the .38 revolver, stopping him in his tracks. Sit down, Vince. He sits, his hands shaking. Now, here's what's going to happen. You're going to return every penny you stole from my company. You're going to resign from all your business positions. You're going to leave Iron Lake and never come back. And if I don't, then I press charges for embezzlement, fraud, conspiracy, and attempted assault. You'll spend the next 10 years in federal prison. Vince nods slowly. What about Claire? Claire is my problem, not yours. Your relationship with my wife is over, effective immediately. She won't like that. She'll have bigger problems to worry about. I end the live stream and put my phone away. The damage is done. Everyone in Iron Lake now knows the truth about Vince Morrison and Clare Reid. You can go now, Vince, but remember, if you try to contact Claire, if you try to leave town with any of my money, if you even think about retaliating against me, I'll make sure you spend the rest of your life in a concrete cell. Vince stands up on shaky legs and walks toward his car. He turns back once, as if he wants to say something, then thinks better of it. I watch his taillights disappear into the darkness, then pull out my phone and call Eddie. You get all that? Every word. Jesus, Jack, you just destroyed that guy on live television. He destroyed himself. I just gave him the platform to do it. What's next? Next, I deal with my wife. The live stream video goes viral overnight. By morning, it has been shared over 300 times on Facebook, posted to YouTube, and forwarded through every gossip network in Iron Lake. My phone is ringing constantly with calls from reporters, lawyers, and people who want to know if the story is true. It's all true, and now everyone knows it. I'm having breakfast at the diner on Main Street when Claire walks in. She looks like she hasn't slept, her usually perfect hair disheveled, her makeup smeared. She's wearing the same clothes from yesterday and her hands are shaking as she approaches my table. You son of a jerk, she hisses, keeping her voice low. How could you do this to me? Sit down, Claire, we need to talk. She sits across from me, her eyes red with tears and rage. You've ruined everything, everything. I've exposed the truth. There's a difference. The truth? The truth is that you were a terrible husband who cared more about your business than your family. The truth is that you're a thief and an adulteress who tried to steal my life's work. Several people in the diner are staring at us, recognizing Claire from the video. She realizes we have an audience and lowers her voice. What do you want, Jackson? I want my company back. I want my money back. And I want a divorce on my terms, not yours. The board won't reinstate you as CEO. 3 board members conspired with you and Vince to commit fraud. They'll be lucky if they don't go to prison. The remaining 4 board members will do whatever I tell them to do. Claire's face crumples. I never meant for it to go this far. Yes, you did. You planned every detail, from the embezzlement to having me declared incompetent. The only thing you didn't plan on was me fighting back. You were different after the accident. Cold, distant. I was recovering from a spinal injury. I was learning to live in a wheelchair. Instead of supporting me, you were stealing from me and planning to throw me away. My voice carries through the diner, and I realize I'm making a scene. Good. I want everyone to hear this. I loved you, Claire. For 15 years, I loved you. I built a business empire to give you the life you wanted. I bought you a beautiful house, expensive cars, jewelry, vacations, and the moment I became inconvenient, you betrayed me. Claire is crying now, mascara running down her cheeks. I'm sorry, Jackson. I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't give me back 8 months of my life. Sorry doesn't undo the humiliation of being dumped at a motel by your brothers. Sorry doesn't repair the damage you've done to our daughter. Bella understands. Bella understands that her mother is a criminal who tried to steal from her father. How do you think that makes her feel? Claire has no answer for that. I lean forward, lowering my voice so only she can hear me. Here's what's going to happen, Claire. You're going to return every penny you stole. You're going to sign a confession admitting to embezzlement and fraud. You're going to agree to a divorce settlement that gives me everything, the house, the cars, custody of Bella, everything. I can't do that. I'll have nothing. You should have thought of that before you decided to destroy me. What if I refuse? I pull out my phone and show her a video file. This is security footage from my office, showing you and Vince planning my downfall. I also have bank records, forged documents, and a full confession from your lover. If you don't cooperate, I'll have you arrested for felony embezzlement. Claire stares at the phone screen, watching herself conspire against me. You've been planning this for weeks, months, ever since I overheard you talking to your mother about dumping me at the motel. I didn't know you heard that. I hear everything, Claire. I see everything. That's how I built a successful business, and that's how I'm going to destroy everyone who betrayed me. Claire wipes her eyes with a napkin. What about my brothers? What about them? They were just helping me. They didn't know about the embezzlement. They stole my father's watch. They physically threatened me. They participated in your conspiracy to have me declared incompetent. Jackson, please. Your brothers are adults, Claire. They made their choices. I signal the waitress for the check, then look back at Claire. You have 24 hours to make your decision. Cooperate with me, or face criminal charges. Where will I go? What will I do? That's not my problem anymore. I leave money on the table and wheel toward the exit. Claire calls after me, but I don't turn around. I've said everything I need to say. Outside the diner, Eddie is waiting with his truck. How'd it go? Better than expected. She's broken, Eddie, completely broken. You feel good about that? I consider the question as Eddie helps me into the passenger seat. Do I feel good about destroying my wife? About ruining the mother of my daughter? I feel like justice has been served. That afternoon, I have a meeting with the REI'd Safety Board of Directors. It's held in the conference room where I've made countless important decisions over the years, the same conference room where they voted to remove me as CEO 8 months ago. 4 board members are present, the 3 who weren't part of Vince's conspiracy, plus 1 replacement for Peterson, who resigned this morning rather than face criminal charges. Williams and Chen have also resigned, leaving the board with a clean slate. Gentlemen, I say, wheeling to the head of the table, I believe you have some business to conduct. Board Chairman Robert Hayes clears his throat. Jackson, on behalf of the board, I want to apologize for what happened. We were deceived by false information and… Bob, save the speeches. I know exactly what happened and who was responsible. The question now is whether you want me back as CEO. Of course we do. The company has been rudderless without you. Good. Then let's make it official. The vote is unanimous. Jackson Reid is reinstated as CEO of Reid Safety, effective immediately. After the meeting, I wheel down to my office, my real office, and find it exactly as I left it. Someone has removed Vince's personal items and restored my family photos, my awards, my personal belongings. Bree is waiting for me with a stack of documents. Welcome back, Mr. Reid. Good to be back, Bree. What do I need to know? The company's in good shape, actually. Vince didn't have time to do any real damage to operations. Sales are up. We have 3 new major contracts, and employee morale is high now that people know the truth. What about the stolen money? Mr. Morrison transferred $600,000 back to the company accounts this morning, with interest. And the board members who conspired with him? All resigned. Peterson is facing criminal charges, but Williams and Chen are cooperating with the investigation in exchange for immunity. I lean back in my chair, and look out at the Iron Lake skyline. 8 months ago, I was on top of the world. Then I fell, literally and figuratively, losing everything I cared about. But I climbed back up. I fought for what was mine, and I won. Bree, schedule a company-wide meeting for tomorrow morning. I want to address all employees, set the record straight about what happened. Already done, Mr. Reid. 10 a.m. in the main auditorium. What would I do without you? You'll never have to find out, sir. That evening, I'm back at my house on Maple Street. My house, legally and officially. Claire moved out this morning, taking only her personal belongings. The divorce papers have been signed, the settlement agreed upon, the confession submitted to the district attorney. Bella is in her room, packing for college. She's been accepted to Northwestern University, and she's leaving next week. We haven't talked much since everything came out, but I know she's struggling with the truth about her mother. I knock on her door. Can I come in? It's your house, she says without looking up from her suitcase. I wheel into her room, looking around at the posters and photos that chronicle her 17 years of life. Pictures of family vacations, school events, birthday parties, a lifetime of memories that now feel tainted by what we've learned about Claire. How are you doing, sweetheart? How do you think I'm doing? I just found out my mother is a criminal who tried to steal from my father. I'm sorry you had to learn about it the way you did. Bella finally looks at me. Did you have to humiliate her so publicly? The live stream? The newspaper articles, everyone in town talking about our family? Your mother humiliated herself, Bella. I just made sure people knew the truth. She's still my mother. I know. And I'm not trying to turn you against her. But I need you to understand what really happened. Bella sits on her bed, hugging a pillow. I understand that my family is destroyed. I understand that I can't trust anyone anymore. You can trust me. Can I? You lied to me for months about why you were living in that motel. You let me think you were crazy, that the accident had damaged your brain. I was protecting you from the truth until I could prove what really happened. By destroying Mom's life, I wheel closer to Bella's bed. Your mother destroyed her own life when she chose to steal from me and have an affair. I gave her multiple chances to come clean, to work things out. She chose to double down on her lies instead. What's going to happen to her? She'll face criminal charges, but probably won't go to prison. She'll have to rebuild her life, find a new career, start over. And us? What happens to our family? We're still a family, Bella, you and me. That hasn't changed. Bella wipes her eyes. Everything's changed, Dad. Everything. She's right, of course. Everything has changed, but sometimes change is necessary, even when it's painful. I love you, sweetheart. No matter what happens, no matter what you think of me, that will never change. I love you too, Dad. I need time to process all this. Take all the time you need. The next morning, I address the employees of Reid Safety for the first time in 8 months. The auditorium is packed, with people standing in the aisles and crowding around the doors. Everyone wants to hear what I have to say. I wheel onto the stage, position myself behind the podium, and look out at the faces of people who have worked for me for years. Some look relieved, others curious, a few skeptical. Good morning, I begin. I know there have been a lot of rumors and speculation about what happened to me, to our company, and to our leadership over the past 8 months. I'm here today to set the record straight. I tell them everything. About my accident, my recovery, Claire's betrayal, Vince's conspiracy, the embezzlement, the forged documents, the attempt to have me declared incompetent. I don't spare any details. Don't try to make myself look better or my enemies look worse. I just tell the truth. When I finish, the auditorium is silent for a long moment. Then someone starts clapping. Others join in, and soon the entire room is on its feet, giving me a standing ovation. Thank you, I say when the applause dies down. Now let's get back to work. We have a company to run. After the meeting, I spend the day in my office, catching up on 8 months of missed work. It feels good to be back in my element, making decisions, solving problems, building something meaningful. Around 5 p.m., Eddie stops by with a beer and a grin. So, how's it feel to be king of the mountain again? It feels like justice, I say, accepting the beer. Claire thought she could destroy me because I was in a wheelchair. She thought I was weak, helpless, finished. Guess she was wrong. Absolutely wrong. I may have lost the use of my legs, but I never lost my brain, my determination, or my ability to fight back. What's next for the great Jackson Reid? I take a sip of beer and look out at the Iron Lake skyline. Next, I focus on rebuilding. The company is strong, but there's always room for improvement. Bella's going to college, so I want to make sure she has everything she needs, and maybe eventually I'll find someone who actually loves me for who I am. Think you'll ever walk again? Dr. Vasquez thinks I might regain more function with continued therapy. But honestly, Eddie, it doesn't matter anymore. I've learned that strength isn't about whether you can walk or run or climb mountains. It's about whether you can get back up when life knocks you down. Sounds like you got back up just fine. Better than fine. I got back up and I got even. That night, I'm alone in my house for the first time in months. Claire is gone, Bella is at a friend's house, and I have the place to myself. I wheel through the rooms, reclaiming my space, my life, my future. In my study, I pour myself a glass of 20-year-old scotch and toast my victory. I've defeated everyone who betrayed me. Clare is facing criminal charges and social exile. Vince has fled town in disgrace. The McGinty brothers are being investigated for theft and intimidation. The corrupt board members have resigned in shame. I am Jackson Reid, CEO of Reid Safety, master of my own destiny once again. My phone buzzes with a text message. It's from Tom Bradley, my former friend who signed the affidavit against me. Jack, I saw your speech today. I'm sorry for what I did. I was wrong about everything. Can we talk? I delete the message without responding. Some bridges, once burned, can never be rebuilt. Another message, this time from Jennifer Walsh. I'm proud of you for fighting back. You're stronger than any of us realized. I delete that one too. A third message, from Mike Hoffman. I retracted my statement like you asked. I hope we can be friends again someday. Delete. I don't need their apologies or their friendship. I don't need anyone who would abandon me when I was vulnerable. I've learned that I'm stronger alone than I ever was surrounded by fake friends and a treacherous wife. I finish my scotch and wheel to the window, looking out at Iron Lake in the moonlight. The water is calm, reflecting the stars like a mirror. It's beautiful and peaceful, and for the first time in months, I feel truly content. They called me a burden. They said I was finished, broken, helpless. They were wrong about everything. I am Jackson Reid, and I am exactly where I belong, on top of the world, looking down at everyone who tried to destroy me.